Hey everyone, welcome back to the PC Perspective Podcast. We're at episode 694. This is being recorded on September 14, 2022. I'm Sebastian Peak.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
6 more in 2004. Josh Walrath.
I don't know what he's talking about. I'm Brett Van Spurmberg.
I couldn't do the math
6 more episodes.
fast enough to refute that. Are there only 6 left? Wow.
I'm gonna have to let me get out a numpad real quick and let me.
I'm sorry, those are TKL is now standard, so you don't have a numpad anymore.
Damn it! All right, forget it.
We need to shout out a new patron, as we mentioned that we have a Patreon account. By the way, it's
can we do it?
Patreon.com/PCPer. And yes, he can. Bob the Builder is now one of our supporters. So
we
thank you,
can
Bob the
do it.
Yes, we can.
We have,
with your
and
help.
we will again.
Just like the Detroit Lions.
Yeah. What, another 3-13-1 season? Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Thanks, Bob.
Let's shift things over to Josh in Laramie, Wyoming.
Only if you can sing it.
Me? It was a raspberry beret. The kind you find on the corner of 2nd and Ivinson. Raspberry beret, and if it was made and born in a barn, it couldn't wear much more.
Those are the lyrics.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Nice.
No, I had a burger today called the Raspberry Beret. It doesn't look like much, but it sure was tasty. The Raspberry Beret was comprised of 2 nice fluffy buns, a layer of crunchy peanut butter on the bottom covered by a single beef patty, topped off with a slice of cheddar cheese, and then, as a topping, just as in the song, some raspberry jam, but then covered by the top bun. You know, I've always been kind of leery of burgers with peanut butter, but I figured, what the hell? You only live once. You can do it. Try something new. Try something that could make your gut upset, but at least you'll remember about everything about it. And it was tasty. I mean, it wasn't incredibly filling because it was not a double patty, but you know, the peanut butter it added a lot to it, especially in terms of texture. It's got to be crunchy. You know what I'm saying? And so the mixture of sweet and acid with the raspberry jam and cheddar and the meat beef flavor was all pretty fantastic. And, you know, while it does not look like much, it sure was good.
Josh, I'll have to edit this into your burger segment. So, I don't eat meat, but my wife does. And no jokes, please. And we were at a restaurant recently, this last week. After we left, no, it was the next day. She's telling me, I finally know how Josh feels. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I haven't eaten since yesterday at lunch. Like, I didn't realize that. So we did our own thing for dinner. She didn't have any dinner. She had this.
Oh, is that a pastrami burger?
It is a massive Reuben.
Yeah,
and
that's a decent Reuben.
This is after she ate half of it, and then she was running out of room. She was like, that's so good. So then she just started eating the meat with a fork and not eating the bread.
Yeah, that's fine.
Getting so full that she literally did not eat for 24 hours.
Because it was a mixed rye bread as opposed to just the pure dark rye. So
everything about
totally allowed to
this
skip that.
Success.
I can just feel the sweating after half of that sandwich.
Oh man, that's a lot of meat. Well,
yeah.
Tell Corrine that I'm proud. I'm proud of her and her beef eating skills.
Nice.
In case you've been living under a rock, there have been a number of GeForce rumors in the last few days.
Well, first off, what did Zotac do to their logo? That was the first thing I saw off of this.
Is this real? I mean,
looks pretty real to me.
It's being reported on Chinese forums, so I mean,
it looks.
It could be Photoshop. I'm an expert.
Hey, it could be AI generated. You could have fed that in and said, "Give me a GeForce RTX 4090."
Yes, but wait! Don't go off that. Don't go off the box yet. Go back up.
These look good. Who cares about the box?
Would an AI have come up with "Love Gaming, Power the Win"?
Yes.
Yes, yes, they would have.
Machine translation of whatever it was. Yeah.
God.
Here are real-looking graphics cards of the boat variety. These are massive.
They look a little taller than graphics cards that I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
If you grabbed that by the end and then swung it not gently at someone's head, it would cause real damage.
Assuming you could lift it, yeah.
Speaking of causing damage, let's immediately go to the Lenovo RTX 4090 pictures that have been circulating. Look at the size of this. Now, I thought at first this might be an optical illusion. It might only be a triple slot.
No, that is
3.5
slot.
It is
two slots. three slots and a little bit of extra for the tentacle.
And then
are we a little concerned about the power connector?
I am.
I mean, that looks like a single 12.
For those of us,
well, no, it's that next generation PCIe.
With
the power sensing, but
a single one,
thinner wires, and thinner connectors, and you're pulling 450 to 600 watts at peak.
Yeah. For those listening, this is a very large graphics card found in Lenovo Legion systems, apparently, when the 4090 will launch. It looks like a Radeon 7, but twice as wide. It takes 4 slots. The cooler looks to be about a triple slot and a half cooler. It is gargantuan, and it just has that wee little next-gen power connector in the middle of it.
And because it's at best at an actual 3/4 length card, the power input is aesthetically displeasingly right in the middle.
I don't think that really matters in a pre-built like this.
Yeah.
Well, okay, not in a pre-built, but it may matter. Look at this. The Zotac one may also be that way.
I mean, that must be really insane I mean, there's no wonder why they're going to be charging as much money as there is. The bill of materials is going to be nuts.
I mean, like 12 heat pipes.
And here's why. Because the maximum TGP of a 4090 reportedly is 660 watts. That's been reported by multiple sources now. Mm-hmm. So it's adjustable. It's configurable. You can have 450 as the default, and then up to 660 in the biggest, widest cards.
So the 2K power supply, the reviews are coming up soon, right? We're going to be 2 kilowatts now?
Yeah, this is, I mean, your minimum, if you're going to have a high-end machine with a high-end CPU or graphics, is going to be 12 to 1500.
Yeah.
Depending on the manufacturer. That's silly.
And
I mean, performance is great and all, but boy, we're just pushing that ragged edge of, I mean, you got 70 billion transistors in there, and you got to push them, and that takes power. No matter how much you gain in transistor efficiency, you're just throwing so many more into the mix that those gains. I mean, that's why everybody's talking about performance per watt. Oh, we've increased performance per watt by 50%. However, we've packed 60% more transistors in there, and we have to raise our wattage up another 30 to 40 watt TDP. So, yeah, no, we're. But they have so many internal structures of power management and clocking and gating and all of that they can extract an insane amount of performance without the chip itself kind of just breaking down, as chips did 10 to 15 years ago when we actually had overclocking that made a difference. Now it's all so finely tuned and controlled internally with pretty impressive, not only algorithms, but just designed hardware on the chip that controls, the shutting down and how much power is delivered and when. And I mean, it's just really amazing engineering-wise what they do. But your pocket and your air conditioning are going to pay a price this next generation with these products, because everybody is amping up how much power they consume and how much heat they will produce.
Well, and the other thing I'm worried about is the stability of that power. Because when you're getting up that high, a tiny 0.5%, 1% ripple, which wouldn't be noticed on a system drawing 700 watts, is going to really upset a system pulling 1500. Like, that's a significantly larger voltage, even though the percentage is the same. So I'm really worried about the stability of these things. Just like what PSU is going to be stable enough to do what these are going to need to do, especially when you pair.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why. There's a reason why they invented this ATX 3.0. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the spec.
That's why they have sensing leads on the graphics card. It would just they have to react very, very fast.
Yes,
and it's.
But I see V-droop being a big thing.
I know, especially as I'm getting older. Droop is.
Well, I mean, aren't we all?
Let's talk about house
This episode
wiring
brought to you by Blue Chews.
Standard room. Let's talk about the problem people are going to have, in a regular old house. They're going to be tripping the basement breaker.
Yeah. Well, you don't need the stove all day
for gaming, for sure. You don't want to share this
dedicated circuit for.
You don't want to share this with the microwave. You don't want to share this with the blow dryer in the bathroom. This has to be a dedicated 20 amp circuit.
I can see power supply makers jumping in on this, or sorry, UPS makers. 2 inputs off of 2 separate circuits, and then it'll power your system, and probably not blow fuses all the time.
It seems like a little bit of a liability. I don't know if they want to do that, but there will be some people rigging their own for sure.
Most rooms are only on a single circuit, so I don't think
that's why you get an extension cord from the other room.
I went to a LAN party one time, and they didn't have enough power in the room, and so University of Wyoming dragged in
the window.
Large cables to do. And yeah, we were all gaming and playing, and I went over and I was like, how hot are these? And I touched, and I couldn't hold on to it. It was so hot. It was like, wow, this is not safe. But it's
just pour
funny.
some water on it, cool it off.
Yeah.
We will get some more definitive answers to some of these questions at GTC, which is coming up. The keynote is September 20. I am assuming it's going to be a real
It'll
Jensen,
be in the metaverse again?
I don't know what to believe anymore. Is it really him? No. Is it an AI
Jensen's jacket will be there.
Version of him?
Maybe a 15-year younger version of him.
His kitchen is fully rendered, of course.
Was the kitchen ever really there, or was that just a
no one needs that many spatulas.
Ooh, that's an interesting question.
What's this 50% off peak thing?
Oh, that's plots some pricing of GPUs now. It looks like, based off of where we were on peak, average graphic card prices right now are 50% off since the start of 2022.
So, in other words, they're back to what they should have been before they rose.
Still a little higher, but
they're still high.
We started off in a bad place because everybody wanted more money. But you can see the plot of the average selling price. Yeah, we're still not down to that 267.
We need to get back to that 267. I like that number a lot better than 529.
529 is average, and that's honestly that's half of the peak, so it's not wrong, but it's still not down in that nice range.
I did see a 3060 Ti for $423, which is only $24 off of its actual introductory MSRP.
That is a good price.
Was it advertised as 50% off, by any chance?
Probably. There was a special today on Shell Shocker with a regular 3060 12 gig plus a 24-inch 1080p 165 hertz gaming monitor for $399.
That's decent. If you need a monitor,
you figure it's a $120 monitor.
Yeah,
that's not horrible, especially if you need a monitor.
Better than when you guys used to gamble on Newegg, and it was one thing you wanted and something you really didn't want.
I don't miss that. Don't
And it was never in
it.
Canada, so I can make fun of it all I like, because I never even had the chance.
You can, and you should, because it should never see the likes of it again.
Oh, perfect transition to AMD's Ryzen mobile naming scheme, which AMD apparently admits is a mess. Oh, is this the reason that Robert Halleck left, by the way?
Maybe.
He wrote the post on this and then disappeared.
Something about camels and straws. I doubt it was the whole reason, but it might have been one of it. Is like, no, don't. Can we just go back to letting the engineers name components again? Those made sense.
May I have 20 seconds?
Yeah, but you didn't have nearly enough SKUs with engineers in charge.
No, you do. Bin it down or bin it up. Just don't.
Sebastian has officially asked for 20 seconds.
This last week, I got PR communication from Intel and then saw some stories out there about the fact that they are officially naming 13th gen Intel 13th gen Core. Okay, well, since we have multiple architectures, we have the previous gen and current gen being sold under the same 13th gen umbrella, we're just going to call it 13th gen. So to me, this is what AMD was doing, because they're going to have 3 architectures on the market simultaneously, all under the 7000 umbrella. So they came up with, well, let's just put together this new naming scheme instead of saying, here's 5000, 6000, and 7000 products again. AMD
Not to mention the 4000, which
AMD
was a rebrand of the 2000.
AMD always does rebrands.
I don't think we're supposed to remember this, though.
Look at their low-end graphics
You got to
cards.
send those wafers to Global Foundries.
Oh. Well, like the what is that? The 8570 graphics cards, which are never mind.
They just wanted this naming scheme to be technical and informative. I mean,
it's
how did they
neither.
go wrong.
What is that? What they said?
What? Yes, literally. Quote, AMD explained their statement, we wanted the system to be technical and informative, such that an enthusiast could quickly, quote-unquote, decode the number to see what's inside. They may have missed the mark on this one.
Swing and a miss.
What I like about that is that they're talking about enthusiasts. This is not a desktop processor or a graphics card add-in board. This is a laptop CPU. That is as mainstream as it gets. You need to make it.
Bring logic into it, why don't you?
Okay.
We said, how do people shop on laptops? What are they looking at?
What does it cost?
Josh killed that segment last week on price. That was one of those transitions.
Thanks for saying that I killed it.
You did.
Josh. You hit it out of the park. If you watch the video version, you'll see Josh say, price. And then everybody's just silent. And then it slowly fades out. And then I just put the word price on the screen. So, a complete
But nobody
cluster.
cares because you buy a laptop on
price,
essentially.
Yes. We've just transitioned to our next story.
I saw it.
Perfect.
Nice touch.
Thank you. Nice work on the editing, Sebastian.
Now, before you get too excited about the power, the raw power of AMD's RX 6400, available in low-profile, tiny fan graphics cards like the one pictured here if you're watching the video, there's only 2 video outputs. So, yeah, it's faster than an A380 in gaming.
Well,
it's only got 2 video. Is it? I thought it was. I thought a 6400 was sometimes faster than an A380.
Yes, the key is sometimes.
Okay.
For AMD optimized games, yeah, it was, and sometimes by a fair margin, to be fair. But there were others that, the ARC 380 just did not let up. And this is with resizable bar, because they did test a few without the rebar enabled, and the ARC card actually really likes rebar a lot.
Okay,
it's a must. It's a must, Jeremy.
I know this is
it pretty much is
Guru of 3D, so there's going to be a long.
Yeah, you're going to have to scroll down a while.
Do you really need a 3090 Ti and a 6950 XT on the?
Hey, if you got the data point on your chart, why get rid of it? Well,
just,
other than after you
scroll
and there it is. There it is.
So, coming in just behind the Radeon R9 Fury.
Good lord, is the Fury really that slow?
Yeah, and it only has 4 gigabytes of memory too.
Remember, most people are on the 1060 still, so don't
Dude, I'm looking at the not the RX 580. What was the Vega? There's Vega 56.
Yeah, Vega's there.
Nicely up the charts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you ready for a sidebar?
What?
The A380,
yes, Judge,
everywhere I've looked, is sold out in the United States.
I'm not surprised.
That ASRock A380 with the 4 outputs.
How many did they bring in, though?
I have no idea, but I think it was a significant amount.
Yeah.
But, getting a video card, even though 3D sucks, you still got 4 next generation outputs.
That's not even the selling point, Josh.
Outputs.
I know. And
hardware.
Hell,
what is the AV1? AV1
AV1 codec.
Code.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which could be the next frontier.
They need to pump that into the market very badly because there is a market for it. There's demand.
If only we knew some sort of performance strategist that would be into that.
Somebody was asking about Radeon 7 on this chart, by the way. It's right up there with the 5700 XT, where it always is.
Yeah.
Actually, the 5700 XT is often
that
faster.
Should be Jeremy, 1080 Ti range.
Yeah. Those are their neighbors, more or less.
This is one game at one resolution. Let's look at Far Cry 6, very AMD friendly, typically is the Far Cry series. Let's see how it stacks up. 6400 is at 47 frames per second at these settings, whatever they may be, which is tied with an RX 570. Where is the
480 more or less.
380.
Well, see, they didn't include it on all of their charts, unfortunately, which was quite upsetting. And I did have to mix a couple of reviews together, which I swear I linked to in the other one. But essentially what you're seeing is a trade back and forth between the A380 and the 6400 at 1080p. Now, when you went higher, of course, the performance is abysmal when you're at 1440p or 4K. Well, and I don't even think they did 4K, but 1440p. But that's not the point. The point is that the ARC card has 4 outputs. So you're running at multi-monitor display. And the ability for it to perform better at higher resolutions, not necessarily in gaming, but in usefulness, really makes the point that Josh has made before too, that this is the new Matrox multi-headed display for when you've got to drive several different monitors. You're not gaming, you're working, but considering they're both about the same price, the AMD card is usually actually a little bit higher.
Yes.
And it has fewer outputs. It's like, on average, 2 outputs. Yeah, and if you think about it, Intel has another advantage in that they have so many integrated graphics. Their actual Windows 10 and 11 desktop drivers are pretty good. And that's sad, but it's what it is. So yeah,
pretty good. What do you
on these?
What are you comparing it to when you say pretty good? When you say they're pretty good, what are you comparing it to?
I think desktop drivers for actual Windows 10, Windows 11, not 3D games. They're at NVIDIA level.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when's the last time you had some user with an Intel-based graphics laptop complain about video issues?
No, that's not what they complain about.
No, it's like 3 years. I mean, they were pretty bad there for a while, but things are.
You haven't deployed any of the new Dells.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's not wonderful.
Does it have?
It's not horrible.
Or whatever
no, it's the onboard.
Okay,
it's the onboard. I think it's purely a driver thing. I think, but yeah, the 5420s that are coming out right now are just and the battery and the not installing the storage all the time. Yeah, it's a horrible time.
Yeah, it sounds like a Dell problem.
Yeah, it's a Dell problem.
It's awesome,
but it's also an HP problem. And an Acer problem. And a Lenovo
Mirror
problem,
is reminding us of the abomination called Optimus, where NVIDIA tried to hold hands with Intel with,
Oh, God. Let's not revisit those times.
Let's move along to a story about Windows 11 failing again. What are they failing at this time? Just as an operating system in general?
Well, if you're new to Windows 11 and wanted to try it out, and so you set up a Microsoft account, as it forces you to do, it's going to tell you you're not allowed to sign in after you set up the account. Microsoft says that, no, don't worry, the issue only affects newly added Microsoft account users. Yeah, so welcome to Windows 11. You're not allowed to use it. Yeah, fine. It's brilliant. They did stress this bug doesn't exist on Active Directory or Azure accounts, to which the rest of the corporate world's going, oh yeah, you guys are still pushing Windows 11, aren't you? That's nice. Let us know when the next one comes out. So yeah, it's just welcome to Windows 11, and the first thing you get is a sign-in error. But don't worry, reboot, which would be the first thing that everyone does, and then maybe you'll be allowed to sign in. It's just you don't realize they're gifted. They're gifted at just annoying the hell out of people. I don't get. I want Windows 98 SE again. And Novell networks through my networking.
Let's quickly look at a very slim keyboard from Corsair. We don't have one. It's not out yet. It's ultra low profile. I looked at a thin Cherry branded Cherry MX low profile keyboard a while back. This is Cherry MX ultra low profile. And what that means is total key travel is only 1.8 millimeters. Even the low profile is 3.2. That is so low.
Is this the first keyboard with these switches?
I don't know. But it's the K100 AIR. So when that comes out on October 4th for some mystery price, which has not been revealed yet, I will be very curious to try one out.
But does this remind you of the Doctor Who episode? The End of the World? Season 1, Episode 2. The very, very thin lady. Look how thin she is. Thin and dainty.
Moisturize me.
Yes.
We will wrap up the news with some more sort of self-evident stuff. Well, via VideoCardz, of course, because that's where we get most of our rumors or reports.
Did you just say wrap up the nudes? Because
yes. Yep.
Yes. I'm 100% behind that.
The news.
Yeah. Yep.
13th Gen Core was accidentally leaked by Intel's own Canadian, looks like, Intel.ca.
Thanks, Canada.
Website.
You're welcome.
So, 13600K up to 5.1 gigahertz P-Core Max, 14 cores, 20 threads. Then you have the i7 13700K up to 5.3 gigahertz, 16 core, 24 thread, and then the 13900K, which is going to be 24 core, 32 thread. Kent, are you regretting that 12900KS?
Ouch.
Yet?
Ouch. That was harsh. That was harsh.
But the truth hurts sometimes. And if you're buying 12th Gen now, you're going to regret it later.
Ken deserves all the pain. Kent deserves all the pain. And well, Ken does as well. But yeah.
Yeah. You never did get in that barrel of mineral oil. So, yeah.
No.
Okay. Let's move to gaming quick hits. Somebody, Ironwood Studios.
What the heck is this about?
Strange Pacific Drive.
Yeah. So the game is called Pacific Drive, and you're driving around in the Pacific Northwest, which, if anyone's done, realizes it's a really bad idea to go off-roading because the trees are very large and quite closely clustered. But what if it was also sort of a stalker-like anomaly zone? And I've only seen the demo, but Rock Piper Shotgun got a little bit more of a look into it, and they describe you as playing an off-brand Egon Spengler, at which point, like, I'm already done. You're driving an old Woody station wagon through the Olympia exclusion zone, where you've got sort of like stalker stuff going on, weird anomalies coming in, and it's not just like beastie stuff. It's the landscape actually changes. Huge columns of rock shoot out. There was this weird little underwater or underground buzzsaw thing that cut across a road at one point, but apparently that's permanent. So the actual environments you're in changes over time, and they also build as a roguelite in that every time it's going to be different. But it's just the idea that you've got this car, it's customizable, you upgrade it as you're exploring it, and it reminds me of, and as I started out babbling in the post, the old car-based ridiculous games. Interstate 76 was frickin' brilliant. Never get out of the car. We don't do those anymore. You do sort of road combat games, but no, it's more Josh's bread and butter of Gran Turismo and Dirt Rally and that, where it's serious racing. I don't want serious racing, I want silliness.
Tech Power Up has a look at Red Dead Redemption 2 DLSS versus FSR 2.0. So check that out. There's screenshots.
This is an official FSR 2.0. There was sort of I don't want to say open source, but a community way of getting FSR 2.0 into
DLSS sucks. Look, it totally erased that dude.
Yeah, and then it messes the sky up.
Well, yeah, these are from 2 different runs, but yes, Whoa, the guy on the horseback is gone too. Okay.
Look at that.
Look at how much darker the wires are.
In fact, look how much darker everything is.
Yeah,
no, but they're thick.
Well, no.
Not everything.
What about this? Go back. No, the balcony on the saloon there is actually much better rendered, but...
And which one?
Yeah.
I don't even know which one is which. Is this left? If I scroll over to the right, am I looking at DLSS?
That's DLSS.
Okay.
Yeah.
DLSS.
That's all DLSS except for that small space.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean the wire thickness between the two is actually kind of.
Yeah, and the definition on that saloon is not bad.
With the
now look at the wires in the
distance.
background. Oh, look, they totally disappear with DLSS.
They're still
there.
there.
They just
It's
fade out there.
It is.
They're
Middle
kind of
distance
chunky
stuff
with FSR.
They
FSR
more footage
was
of
better.
the wires.
It's almost like one company sells a graphics card with more memory than the other one.
Oh wow. Okay.
That was low. But seriously, middle distance stuff turned out to be a little bit better in FSR 2. DLSS
Okay.
was still very good in this latest version, but FSR 2.0 is extremely playable and is a real competitor. There was little shimmering and oscillating at certain resolutions with certain parts of the game, which is different from the Community Edition FSR 2.0, but it's really a worthwhile addition and shows that FSR 2.0, which is doing a lot of it in software, is a significant competitor to DLSS. So.
Oh, you know what else is? XESS.
I don't know.
I've heard good things about XESS, especially on social media.
Social media,
well.
Intel
Clearly
is
it's
reporting
true,
that XESS is
Obviously, you can believe everything on the internet.
It's
You're not allowed to lie.
Totally true.
Then you can use it. Say you have an NVIDIA graphics card. You can use XESS.
You can use it
with your NVIDIA graphics card. You don't need to use DLSS. All right. Road Warden. What is it?
Well, it's a game that someone just pointed out to me just before the show. It looks like an interesting sort of RPG, but they also talk about mixing in visual novels and interactive fiction. So they've done something interesting. But the key is, look, download Road Warden demo. You can download a demo before buying it for like 10 or 12 bucks. But I will happily, even if it's a horrible game, anyone who offers a demo to let you try it out before, I am 100% behind. This used to be a thing. We used to wait in line to go buy our PC Mag to get the newest demo disc to find out which games we were going to buy and which ones we weren't. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but where did demos need to come back? It's a brilliant way to get people to either, realize, yeah, I don't like this. I might still shoot you the 10 bucks anyways because you did something interesting. It's just not for me. Or it's like, well, that's interesting and a lot of fun. And
if only there was a magazine that you could buy that had a demo Blu-ray included that had a portion of benchmarks and next generation game demos on it that you can easily just plug into your computer through the optical drive and load and play it.
Josh,
people had an
we're getting old, aren't we?
Look, if you got demo discs, you get stuff like this. This PC Gamer disc 5.10. If I find my camera here.
You're making me pull it out, aren't you?
This is the Classic Games Collection. 12 complete games. Yours. For the price of the magazine. You get XCOM UFO Defense, King's Quest, Alone in the Dark, Secret of Monkey Island, Duke Nukem 2, Lynx, The Challenge of Golf, Descent, Terminal Velocity, Wing Commander, Ultima 1, Ultima Underworld, Road and Track Presents the Need for Speed.
Oh, Ultra Underworld.
The exclusive Daikatana demo.
Ooh.
Oh, and that game turned out so well.
It's going to be the next hot
It's going to make
title.
Be something.
It's going to make you its bitch.
Oh, yeah?
That's right.
Which one's that, Jeremy?
That's the one with Soldier of Fortune, Messiah.
No. What number?
Roll Cage, Maximum CD, June 2000.
Hold that up again.
Because I have...
Well, that's just the first one I grabbed. BIOS 5 personal on there. Thief, the Metal Age.
Maximum CD 01.
Oh.
Wow.
But before Maximum PC turned into Maximum PC, they were boot. And this is my first
boot.
Number 14. So I only missed it by a year and 2 months. But yeah, this one has Outpost 2, Panzer General 2, X-Car, Experimental Racing, Constructor, Dark Colony, Fallout, the original Fallout.
Fallout 1. Wow.
Hot Metal Pro, Lords of the Realm, Siege Pack 1, Outpost 2. Yeah.
Hey, I like Lords of the Realm. That was a good game.
So anyway, yeah, why I still have this? Because I'm dumb. And I like
so you can pull it out tonight.
It's because
make everybody feel old.
Yeah. Oh, John Romero, we still love you, but Daikatana was just not.
It's time for Security Corner, and Cisco, they want to be like Apple, which means you need to buy new hardware because they're not going to support your old broken stuff anymore. Or does that mean that they're sending you updates that intentionally cripple it so that you have to buy new hardware?
Well, they haven't admitted to that yet, but it would not surprise me because this is ridiculous. Like one of the routers on this list, there's 4 of them. It reached end of life this year. And these are small business frickin' routers. How often do you replace the modem that your ISP gave you? How often does your company pay to replace the routers unless they die completely? Never. And as a benefit, these are all VPN frickin' routers or firewall devices. So it's not just that it's your router, it's your IP security VPN. And Cisco has said, you know what? These are end of life. They're, if you can go back a few podcasts, you can hear about the wonderful vulnerabilities that have come up with Cisco this year. Cisco is just like, yeah, you know what? We're not going to bother patching them. You're encouraged to buy a new Cisco product, which we will totally support for a really long time. Wink, wink.
Oh,
nudge,
sure.
nudge.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, no, this is from Linksys for a cheap-ass $100 router. All right, that's one thing. From Cisco? Seriously? Enterprise routers from Cisco, they're probably older than some of the people I work with. But they still work, and they're still sort of supported, although you got to get 2nd or 3rd level before they're like, yeah, I don't know what that is. I think it's really old. But eventually they'll figure it out. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. Although, on the other hand, if you're still running wireless LAN, you should upgrade. Beg, plead, pour water on them, do something to upgrade. But that's just because you should, not because you're forced to. I don't know, I'm a little bit annoyed by Cisco on a general level, and this is just dirty pool.
Yeah, the fact that they won't patch it for a company like Cisco is...
Yeah.
It just seems...
but it's not really Cisco. It's... the company bought by Cisco.
Okay, you're
Otherwise
right.
known as Linksys.
Yeah, as otherwise known as Linksys.
It's
but
under an umbrella.
These are rebadged Linksys equipment. Is that your implication here?
more or less, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Cisco bought them out, but at the same time, you're now Cisco. It's a Cisco named, and it says Cisco on it. It doesn't say Linksys on it. It says Cisco on it.
Right.
So you're just, it's not good PR. It's not good anything.
Our next security story.
Let me tell you, if I'd have bought stock in Cisco in 1991, I wouldn't be on this.
You wouldn't be
podcast.
Here.
Yeah.
Nope.
Wouldn't be here. Wouldn't be talking.
You would have bought some in Apple too, bit in IBM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 90s were, it's the wild
been on a
west
few
of,
Super Bowls.
Stocks. Anyway, moving along.
GIF shell attack creates reverse shell using Microsoft Team GIF.
It's pronounced Jeff.
Oh
No.
Oh, how embarrassing!
Incorrect.
All right, kick him off. Kick him off.
GIF.
Wait,
GIF.
which one? Me? Can I leave?
Please. No.
I have to
The one
run
who
the
thinks
beam
it's
next
peanut
to
butter.
my camera. And just
Not.
sit here and play
It's not
video games.
Jif. That's peanut butter.
Yeah, Jif is peanut butter. Jif is spelled with a J.
Which is funny because never mind.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a new attack technique called GIF shell, which allows threat actors to abuse Microsoft Teams for novel phishing attacks and covertly executing commands to steal data using, you guessed it, GIFs.
Nice.
Graphical interchange format or giraffical
Yeah, is it
interchange
graphical
format?
or graphical? Jeremy got it right. Like last time, he said, "Is it a giraffe or a giraffe?" Wait a minute. Then GIF, giraffe. This is not.
No, I think you said that.
No, I'm backwards. But I believe that it's GIF. Always said GIF.
Yeah.
It's graphical.
Is it a
It's GIF.
giraffe?
My IQ is very low.
That's your point.
It's GIF. It's graphical. GIF. GIF.
Yeah, graphical. That's what I meant.
Graphical.
Oh, Lord.
Like Jurassic Park.
Just think
No,
about
my
You
favorite-
don't give gifts to people. You give gifts to people. And if you take the T off of gift, it's GIF. Mofo.
That's not bad. Let's go with that.
Yeah,
that's
all right.
Better. I'll just erase all the other stuff where I look like a fool. And that too. I'll erase everything where I'm speaking.
You can actually see the pull quote right now for those of you watching the visual podcast. As the data exfiltration is done through Microsoft's own servers, the traffic will be harder to detect by security software.
Because it's coming from
It's
Microsoft.
literally flagged as legitimate. The only good news is this has to be a team that accepts both internal and external. But yeah, it's just wow. You can make attachments look like whatever the hell you want. You can just about do whatever you feel like by sending a GIF over Teams in an externally facing team right now, and Microsoft is aiding and abetting.
So they're base 64 encoded GIFs. They don't scan those. Malicious commands can be delivered within them. Please.
You remember steganography? Do you? Do you remember steganography? No. Embedding code or secret messages within a picture? This is ancient tech. Yeah,
sure,
steganography.
Sure, yes.
Literally been an attack vector for forever. And yeah, now even Teams is participating in it.
Ah.
Okay, one more.
Rabble.
One more story.
One more. And this one I labeled as just so Jeremy.
That's so Jeremy.
Wait, TikTok.
Well,
what is this?
It gets
a hardware
even better.
solution to monitor the microphone monitoring you. Yeah, but you have to have a Raspberry Pi. Those are unobtainium right now.
Actually, they're getting a little better, but still, you're not wrong. You also need software-defined radio and a radio frequency amplifier. Oh, and a near-field probe. They are This is a university project.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
This is a combination between the National University of Singapore and Yonsei University in the Republic of Korea, the South one, not the Democratic Republic. But what they did was figure out a way to use this to determine if a microphone is active in your local area, like personal field. So, is my TV listening to me right now? Is Alexa listening to me? Is my cell phone listening to me? Because unlike video, you can't just put a piece of tape over it and know. They've figured out how to do it. They're planning on building it into a USB drive, which honestly is not impossible. Like, SDR is not hard to do on a small, excuse me, on a small EEPROM. And the near field probe is probably going to be the only tough part. But then again, you need... Microphones are built into everything now. You can't unplug it, and if you break it, that's the problem. So how do you figure out if it's working or not? So
like
this is their idea.
Or your webcam.
Yeah. They've figured out the process. They've got the proof of concept of how to do it. They just need to shrink it now. But, I mean, it's 50% brilliance and 50% oops. They called the solution TikTok. I can't imagine why, but
yeah.
They're going to have to change that name, but I have a feeling that's might have been an inspiration as to whether or not you want to know if your microphone is active or not. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit clunkier than the piece of tape over your camera, but it's interesting because, as we have seen in all too many security corners, everything is listening to you all the bloody time, whether you tell it to or not.
Let's move to picks of the week. Josh, get us started.
I don't know.
You do
I
know.
don't care anymore.
Come on. It's a good deal.
It's also pointless.
You need one now because of your spill earlier.
Nobody knows the trouble he's seen.
Anyway.
Nobody knows the sorrow.
So there's a special on these EVGA mechanical keyboards with Khalil switches, $40. Usually $130. It's got RGB lighting, controls. It's got the number keys.
Hell yeah.
Peanut butter jelly time, man. Linear switches, Z15s.
Padded.
Look at that. Even got a palm rest. Palm rest.
Switches.
Look at that.
It looks pretty
even
fat.
I think a brushed alloy face cover with the keys, and
Is
it's
this an
all
aluminum
lit, and it's
top frame?
maybe.
Do you see those radius corners?
Don't care. It's $40.
It's powered by an ARM Cortex M33.
Ooh,
that-
well,
Well, that means you can program your keys and then walk away and
1,000 megahertz.
What is the sampling
4,000
rate?
Hertz, not
4,000.
megahertz.
1,000 hertz.
I don't know. I don't
4K
care.
hertz.
Like,
Yeah,
Oh, no,
I care.
4,000.
It's a mechanical keyboard from a name brand.
I take it back. It said 4,000 hertz polling rate.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes,
It's this
that's
fast.
geez,
high.
$40 for all that? Are you
I know.
kidding me?
Come
You don't
on,
even-
buy it now.
Yeah.
Buy it now.
Yeah.
You don't need the adapter from last week to get your 4,000 hertz permanent polling rate. It's built right in.
And apparently, Mir says that keyboard is cheaper direct from EVGA.
Really? Okay.
$29.
Good.
Wow.
Sounds like they're getting out of the keyboard market.
Dale,
Or
maybe
at least-
it's
at
pronounced-
least this one.
it's a fire towel. I don't care.
Nah.
I got it from Prime.
Fire
I get
sale.
it 2 days.
Good for you.
Anyway, yeah, that's my pick.
And Vale, you're wrong. It's pronounced rocket.
What,
He
the
was
Herbie
making kale
Hancock song?
jokes. No, he was making kale jokes.
This is
Oh,
loading strangely.
I said Khalil instead of Kale. Sorry, Vale.
Khalil Mack. Yes.
Kale says Vale.
This is loading very strangely, but look at these prices.
What?
Whatever
What is
this
going on
is,
here?
$10.
$9 for that
19,
blank
34.99.
What?
Yeah, they're getting
What is
allocated.
happening?
Go to sound cards. Go to sound cards.
I think those are all gone already. What is happening with this site?
Have you tried F5?
Try my laptop. My laptop's about to die, so it's on its ultra low power mode. I'm guessing.
Anyway.
I wonder if that's related. Everything else loaded fine, though. I need to check out some of those keyboards.
I might want to grab one.
I guess it's on the B stock. Yeah, it's B stock side for $30.
But it's only 35.
So yeah, if you want brand new, non-B, then get it from Newegg or Amazon, which are the same price.
Excellent. Jeremy, your pick.
Excellent.
RS-232 isn't dead. In fact, it should never die. Like, serial port is just so handy. But this was a project that was brought to my attention via Twitter this week, which is Wii modem. The Wii stands for wireless because you can wirelessly interface with this as well. But it's a ancient 232. Yes, I mean,
aren't they making one of those for the Commodore 64 as well?
It does the Commie 64. You can attach it to an Atari ST, all the old Apples, the Tandys, the Ataris, ColecoVision. All of those ran off of old
Can I get it
RS
on my Amiga. On my Amiga, can I get it on there?
Probably. It's got a RS-232 part?
Does.
Then yes, you can. Because this thing, it accepts all of the old interfaces. And it runs, it also has a variable baud rate. It'll go as low as 300 baud, because there were some ancient ones that got upset if you went faster than that, to the good old double shotgun 115,200 baud, the double shotgun 64. And of course, you know, the terminal you're using is going to determine that. But it will do just about any of the old frickin' protocols to talk to anything you want. And just because they could, they threw an OLED on the top of this chip so that you can see what's going on. Like, this is the ancient technology that has come back, and it's brilliant. You got to be kind of weird to want to play with it, but you're watching this podcast, so, well, you know.
Yeah, that serial port technology. I remember when the PS1 was released, and they had those UART chips, and you could literally rewire them into a modern computer. Still works.
Yep.
Basically, this is a non-computer piece for those of you who, and as I talked about with Sebastian,
are a bit of a knob.
Or a bit of a knob and want to save the manual gearbox in their car, but are looking for something a little bit more special in their manual gearbox-driven vehicle. This is what you want. This is a custom gearbox shifter that you can order from sportshifters.com that allows you to set the dome top. It'll allow you to upload a custom engraving. It'll allow you to pick the material. It'll allow you to set which vehicle it gets connected to. And this is exactly what I wanted for my particular car. I looked all around and I happened to see this. Somebody suggested it, and it's going to fit my car coloring. So you can get yourself a custom designed shift knob for your car. A knob for those who want to feel a solid shifter. You know what? For the enthusiast, price really doesn't matter.
$152 for a knob.
It doesn't matter.
Why didn't you pick the joystick?
No,
it's right there.
Well, we'll talk about this at some other time. This is
tease.
Yeah, this is the obviously
Thrustmaster.
Thrustmaster HOTAS.
A little bit more. Clearly a little bit more computer related, but this was something that I also just ordered, so I wanted to share it with people. For the car enthusiast among you, saving the manuals, one gearbox at a time.
God, just end it already.
Yeah, Josh, can you give us an outro, please?
We would like to thank you all for joining us for this evening's podcast of the PC Perspective podcast. But I repeat myself, and so I will, of course, repeat myself and say thank you for joining our PC Perspective podcast, number 694 podcast.